open when we opened this gate valve, now that we took all the baffles out. Oh my God.
I also own a farm.
Here we go. You are now watching the 2024 season of Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. So we'll let the truck warm up. I am honestly amazed that it has not needed oil in like a week. So it's not burning oil. It's got a slight tiny little leak that we got to fix. But checked it this morning, greased everything, and we're gonna get going. So today we lost the Galusha boys. So all three of those trucks. If we wrap up, we're gonna go there and help them get some of their stuff wrapped up. But they needed to get back and start. They farm, James and his family farm for themselves. So yeah, I think we got Buzzy once he gets the coolant line, Steve's truck, and 3 from this dairy, 2 from this dairy, and 1 from another dairy. So you all seen the trucks before. And you ready to get going? A brand new tennis ball fell out of the truck, and I threw it once, and then you went over and said hello to Mike, and it's gone. Where's the tennis ball? I also don't know where all this manure came from, but we're closed up. You ready to go? Come on. And hopefully we have a good day. I'm very glad that the calves are back in. I got the gate shut today. We got to fence it. I might only let them out during the day when I'm not there, because at night critters come around. So that was stressful. I was not gonna have a good time if they were gone. We're ready to rock and roll. First load. So this 12-inch dry hill pump is a rather impressive pump, to the point where it'll load some gallons. You go from a 12-inch to an 8-inch, it's like night and day difference. It is amazing. It seems so slow. Then you go to a 6-inch pump and you're like, ooh. But got liquid in here. The noon crawler's over there in case we need it to agitate up, but we're gonna get this pit to a good spot today, hopefully. I have yet to see anybody as far as anybody else, but they might be moving stuff at the drag line, and I'll get the frac tank loaded, and yeah, we'll get going. Coming back with the first load, and I'm like, slight smell of coolant, nothing's running hot. Pull in, and I think it's time for a new radiator cap. We really should probably grab one of them, because I think it gets just to a right point, or when we first start running, and it leaks. And then after it warms up or something, it stops. I don't know if it's a seal, but either way, it did it the other day, and it just did it now. It's not coming out the radiator, but it makes a mess because it comes out the cap. So our solder is still holding. Knock on. I got wood grain metal covers here. It's still holding, so. I see Jordan's here, so the boat's probably going in. When I pulled out of there, he was pulling in. So. Alrighty. I got one truck that was loading behind me from Welcome Stock. I think we're getting 2 from Welcome Stock today and 1 from Kings. So it's a neighborly thing to help each other out, you know. It's been a pretty smooth morning so far. All the trucks are spaced out nicely. Pretty much pull up, unload, and gone. No sitting around, which means we're not pushing as many gallons as we probably could through the drag line. That's kind of ideal if we got the truck on bat. Never stops pumping. So, Brown's cattle truck. I can tell that the tank's a little bit heavier, and I just looked in it. I'm gonna pull up, have them load a little bit in me, get out of the way, and agitate it. Tried to get some, it's sand, a little bit of sand that was left over, but those first loads yesterday, they were so solid that they stayed in the tanks. So, even with the amount of liquid we actually put into them after, into the pond, once the solid's in there and you're not mixing it, they kind of hang around. And I did end up putting a bottom of a bucket and a pig from the drag line, well, from a drag line, in there so it doesn't splash out. So I gotta pull that out so that we can agitate the middle compartment back. Hopefully it gets some of the front. Hopefully the front's not too bad. Since we cut all the baffles out, it does flow nicely. Just took a couple minutes, got all dirty. Pulled the pig out in the trough, which is full of solids. It's heavy. A little tray I put in there. And agitated it for like 5 minutes. Got quarter filled and then pulled out of the way so the next truck can get loaded. We'll see if it worked it up a little bit. It's just on the bottom. Real slimy stuff. Some sand and some of the stuff from yesterday, the heavy solids, so they bind together. And cutting that out probably was a good idea. We just got to figure out how to make it so it seals itself up without having anything in it. That way we could, if we're sitting in line, we could agitate the tank. But I think it does a lot better. I think everybody's coming back the same way. Oh, Buzzy just showed up. He's pulling into the farm behind me. He had to wait for Cat to open to get a coolant line. You know, what's the saying? Gorski's got it on the back of his truck. If it ain't a cat, it's a dog. The dogs are running. Now I'll get the cat guys all worked up. So, I don't remember what I was saying. But, yeah. Agitating, it's got to be a quarter filled to really agitate to get the bottom moving. Otherwise, you're moving product, but you're not actually agitating the bottom. Having it completely filled in this setup does not work as well. You guys remember, we used pipe dope on this when we built everything, and this is the last one that's pipe dope. That got taped, so we gotta loosen that. Hopefully it will come right out. We won't have to mess, but yeah. Lose a little bit of oil, but it started leaking more aggressively, and I'd rather do that before it blows out. And I got tools right here, and I got thread tape right here. Okay, we gotta get that cleaned up a little bit. Clean this up, Oh, we're getting good at this. Switch that quickly. Gotta put some on this end, clean that up, throw it back in the pump. And we're golden. We'll go dump our load. I actually think we need it on this end, but we're gonna do it anyways. Better safe than sorry. Actually, I know we don't need it on this end because of the clamps. Well, we got swivels down here. Keep in mind, we set this up 2 years ago and kind of just doing its thing. Bingo. Clean up our mess. Well, it's no longer leaking. I did have a moment, and I was sitting here, I'm like, why is it not pumping? I disconnected the line going to the trailer when I was working on it. Yeah, that usually helps. But, other truck back there, he's got a plug pump. If you don't have a gate valve and we're running some of this heavier stuff settles out. So, they're moving right along, drag lining out there though. I think we will be here some period of tomorrow unless they don't have that much. Since we've been battling sand last few videos, and there's been a lot of comments as far as putting agitation in, how to clean it, everything else like that. Up until a week ago, I never had any sand issues, ever. We've pumped at both these places. It just depends on what the agitation is, where we're hauling to, stuff like that. A bunch of people have said you have to put a Hainsworth agitation kit back in it, then you can agitate when you're driving. And great in theory in my mind, and I know Andy Horrigan shows it very well. My white truck has a Gemini pump on it. That is built to run continuously no matter what. The big thing that I see, that pump is running off of your engine speed. So as you're driving, that pump is either speeding up or slowing down the whole time. So it's got a lot of wear and tear on it, and it's sitting there at an idle, idle RPMs as you're sitting at a stop sign or something else like that. I think it hurts it. So being in the field and agitating as you're waiting to offload or something like that, that's one thing. The Mac does not have a Gemini pump. Someday it's probably going to need one. But they $4,000, $4,500. Yeah, we're not putting that into the truck right now. It has a dump pump on it. So making sure you're cleaned out as much as you can when going from farm to farm, so you start off in a good spot. We had sand in the tank, and then we switched farms and we just added to it. So, and the sloppy, it was like concrete manure, honestly. That just stuck to the sand and made more issues. We can agitate through the nurse boom back into the middle and keep it moving. So I don't see us putting a sand pipe into it or an agitation pipe all the way up in the front. It just doesn't make sense in the layout. We got to add more valves, everything else like that, and we're not set up that way. So we'll battle the sand when we get to it. But for the last 4 years of my manure pumping life, well, with the semis, 6 years I've owned tanks. Well, tractor tanks I've owned for 7. So I've never had to dig out or mess with inside of it till then. So if we have that limited, I'm going to be okay, and we don't need more agitation for the limited times we have. We just need the right friends with the right tools to get it out. And a lot of people said, you have a pond, why don't you get a pump and you can pump the water in and clean it up. That involves me driving the truck back, getting it to the pond. If we're local and we're having issues, that's one thing. But up there, I could find somebody, and a lot of farms have the same issue. Richard Nelson, I talked to him quite a bit, and he says every other year, or 2 times a year, they got to get in. And theirs isn't so much sand, it is rocks. So it screens out the rocks that are in their sand because their sand isn't screened. They have sand on farm. But yeah, James, I think, just got done cleaning out the sand in his tank with the garden hose. So I know there's different options, but it's all what you got available at that time. So agitation kit going back in, probably not going to be it. But appreciate all the comments because it does give you different ideas. We're getting more fill for the side of the driveway at home, and well, it got dumped right in the middle of the driveway, and John just called me, and he's going to dinner later, so he's a little worried about it being there in the way. He's going to give the 2755 a try. If not, I'll have to get Robert or somebody over there to push it out of the way. Yeah, misunderstanding on that one. Plugging up with sand. We're all having some issues. I'm hoping I don't have issues other than sand actually in the tank. Got another truck coming good because we'll offload together. No, I'm gonna say you're plugged. Oh, yeah. They're moving with the drag line though. Well, we're loaded. I don't think the gate valve shut all the way. It might be. It didn't even want to drain out. It was full of sand. So I'm hoping when we open this gate valve, now that we took all the baffles out. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, that is impressive. That is all just sand caked in there. No wonder it was challenging. Look, it's even dry right here. So, wow. Alrighty, hold. And that is all dammed up. Well, we'll open the gate valve. We'll see what comes out of it. Okay, our coolant leak might be more of an issue than I think. That rear head might need the head gasket. This is gonna run out all night probably. And tank was pumped. We're gonna get out of here. We'll bring some water. We'll keep an eye on, yeah, less than ideal, but welcome to, yeah, we should have done both head gaskets. But that's annoying. Well, we'll keep kicking along. Just wrapped up everything I needed here, like putting fuel in my house because, well, the other night, yeah, we ran out of heat. We ran out of oil, so we had no heat. Which, it's been warm enough at night, I have yet to really care. Plus, we get done and I'm so exhausted. That is why some days we don't get videos out. And I'm gonna do better because I like pushing myself, and at some point we're gonna roll into spring work, and we'll be home every night earlier. Well, we'll be available. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.